Hello, boxing news fans. Welcome to my channel. I hope your day was fantastic. Before we start, kindly like and subscribe to the video. Boxing fans were treated to a rare treat throughout the first weekend of May, with headline fights taking place on 3 consecutive nights. Mexican modern-day great Canelo Alvarez, former pound-for-pound hero Devin Haney, and the brilliant Now Yeah No Way all competed on cards held in Times Square, Riyadh, and Las Vegas. Alexander Usyk, the P4P King, will face Daniel Dubois again in July, and Canelo versus Terence Crawford has been scheduled. Clearly, a lot has happened in boxing headlines, but what does it all mean for our pound-for-pound ratings? Here is FuryJoshua.com's assessment on the current top 10 best boxers in boxing. B4P rankings, current top 10, 1 Alexander Usyk. Ukraine, the consensus best heavyweight on the planet, has signed to fight a rematch against Daniel Dubois at Wembley in July. The 38-year-old Usyk admits he is nearing the end of his career, and if he can retire undefeated, he will go down as one of the best boxers in history. He's defeated a who's who of his era at cruiserweight and heavyweight, and usually with relative ease. A master of timing and distance, the Mercurial Southpaw is also an amiable personality who does not cut corners when it comes to preparing for big fights. A special fighter. 2 Naoya Inoue, Japan. In truth, the big cards on Friday and Saturday evening failed to hit the heights, but thankfully, the monster from Japan delivered again, just when boxing needed him. Inoue put his undisputed featherweight championship on the line against Ramon Cardenas on Sunday and came through a firefight to win in 8 rounds. Cardenas didn't just show up for a paycheck and brought all the smoke, dropping Inoue in round 2. In the best fight of the busy bank holiday weekend by some distance, Inoue showed he had heart as well as power, overcoming that early knockdown to stop Cardenas in round 8 in Las Vegas. In truth, the stoppage may have been slightly premature, but when you have a fighter like Inoue getting on top, too early is always preferable to too late. Summary for the lazy, he got dropped. He got up. Then he reminded the world why they call him the Monster. The Japanese star has an ambitious 4-fight plan for 2025, and who knows where his ceiling is when he keeps producing spectacular displays like this. 3 Terence Crawford, USA Bud beat Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA light middleweight crown in Los Angeles last year, but he has finally secured a super fight against Canelo Alvarez, and these 2 pound-for-pound legends will meet at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on September 12th. A switch hitter who can fight from close, medium, and long range, who is unbeaten since turning over in 2008. Crawford is truly elite. For Dmitry Bivol, Russia, the outstanding Bivol has declared that his next fight would be a trilogy with Artur Beterbiev, date TBC. However, as a result of this choice, Bivol has been obliged to reach championship, making him no longer the undisputed champion at 175 pounds. Bivol took revenge against Beterbiev in their February 22nd rematch. He won by majority decision in a close, competitive battle with ebbs and flows in both directions. Both bouts have been of such high quality that no one will be complaining if they return for a 3-part sequel later this year. 5 Artur Beterbiev, Russia. Nothing has been announced in terms of date or venue, but it looks like Beterbiev is going to get his trilogy fight with Bivol and the chance to gain immediate revenge against the only man to beat him as a pro. While they are fire and ice in terms of style, there is so little between these 2 Eastern European greats that a decider is something boxing needs to settle their rivalry once and for all. Beterbiev has a high KO percentage ratio, but his modus operandi is to accumulate damage on his opponents as opposed to being a typical one-punch knockout artist. It will take a Herculean effort to beat Bivol, but Artur has done it before and will fancy his chances in their rubber match. 6 Canelo Alvarez, Mexico. The Mexican phenomenon sauntered to a decision win against the reluctant and risk-averse William Skull on Cinco de Mayo weekend to once again become the undisputed super middleweight champion and set up that September mega fight with Terence Crawford in Las Vegas. Alvarez, boxing outside of North America for the first time, was frustrated and below par himself against a reluctant dance partner, but still won 119-109 116 to 112, and a mystifying 115 to 113 to become the first boxer to become a two-time undisputed champion in the same division in the four-belt era. He really has his hands full against Crawford, but this is the type of assignment which will hopefully bring the best out of a fighter who is nearing 77. Gervonta Davis, USA. Word on the street is Davis's next fight is scheduled for June 21st against Lamont Roach in a rematch at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The first fight between the two resulted in a controversial draw. While a formal announcement hasn't yet been made, both fighters and their teams have expressed a desire to run it back, and it is expected to take place sometime this summer. Tank remains one of the biggest pound-for-pound punchers in the sport, but needs to show he is still elite class after that fortuitous draw with Roach last time out. 8. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, USA, fighting out of San Antonio. Rodriguez is a two-division world champion who has actively pursued and beaten the best fighters of his era. A well-rounded fighter who is brilliant defensively and going forward, it looks like Bam will face South Africa's Phumelela Kafu 11-0-3 8 KOs next in a super flyweight unification bout on July 19th in Frisco, Texas. 9. Shakur Stevenson, USA. The prodigiously gifted Stevenson is set to face William Zepeda next on July 12th. We are led to believe that fight will take place in New York and will be broadcast on DAZN PPV in both the United States and the UK. Mexican Southpaw Zepeda is 33-0 and should give us an idea just how good Shakur really is. Fighting in a stacked lightweight division, fans will be hoping this is the first of many big fights involving Stevenson at 135. 10. David Benavidez, USA. The Mexican monster wants all the smoke and now looks on a mission to conquer new ground in the light heavyweight division. Last seen beating David Morrell on February 1st, Benavidez became the WBC light heavyweight champion without throwing a punch in anger when he was promoted to the full champion after Bivol vacated the title last month. Benavidez has an exciting style, fusing controlled aggression with speed and explosive strength. His uppercut is a thing of rare beauty, and it will be interesting to see where he goes next at 175. Pushing for inclusion, Jaron Boots Ennis is the current IBF and WBA welterweight champion, and he looked brilliant in making fellow unbeaten Imantas Stanioun quit after 6 rounds on April 12th. The stance-shifting, power-punching American could be set for a real test next against Teofimo Lopez. Lopez looked sharp and fast in his recent points win over Arnold Barboza Jr. and has his sights set on Ennis next. The Takeover, who himself has held multiple world championships in 2 weight classes, holds a win over Vasyl Lomachenko, and so it'll be fascinating to see him in with Ennis, who looks a class apart at welterweight. Inoue is not the only Japanese pound-for-pound star. There is also WBC bantamweight boss Junto Nakatani knocking on the door of the top 10. A 3-division world champion, Nakatani's next scheduled fight is a bantamweight title unification bout against Ryosuke Nishida on June 8th in Tokyo. NB Boxing's mythical pound-for-pound list has been and always will be a subjective minefield, as fighters in different weight classes often do not compete directly against each other, which makes ratings difficult to compile. The P4P criteria, while not an exact science, is assembled upon fair analysis of fight records, boxer skills, strengths and weaknesses, and recent title achievements. Jamel Herring was born in New York in October 1985, and by his early 20s, he was deployed as part of the U.S. Marines, first in Fallujah, Iraq, as part of the 2nd Marine Division before going as part of the 2nd Marine Logistics Group in 2007. His exercises in Iraq involved convoys, and he served as a gunner during his 2007 campaign. The deployments made me appreciate the simple things in life. Herring told we are the mighty in 2022. I came back and was happy to see grass and a good lawn, even proper plumbing. Now, even today, I don't ask for much. I've been to places where people don't have much, but then are grateful for what they do have. By 2012, Herring, 39, who is now retired, was voted captain of the U.S. Olympic team for the 2000 Olympic game for the 2012 London Olympic Games, and in doing so, became the first serving Marine in the U.S. boxing team since 1992. Following the games, he decided to leave the Marines and pursue a career as a professional boxer. Herring won his first 15 pro contests before sustaining a TKO loss against Shafikov in July 2016. But he bounced back and won the vacant IBF USBA junior lightweight title in September 2018 before securing the WBO junior lightweight strap in May 2019. Herring defended his title on 3 occasions before losing to Shakur Stevenson in October 2021. Jamal Herring in 2021. Credit Getty, the American retired from professional boxing in April 2024. He was known for his determined style and revealed the grim thing he used to think about when times got tough in the ring. When I'm in the boxing ring and am having a rough fight and go back to the corner, I always think about what I've been through just to get to this point, Herring explained. I always go back to a place in Iraq and have seen roadside bombings and had RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, flying directly towards me and stuff of that nature. Basically, it could be worse, and I've been through worse. More importantly, I know for a fact that there are Marines out there that look up to me and would love to be in my place. It's more of a sense of there's no room for me to complain about the situation that I'm in. I've overcome so much, and I've been through worse, and there are people who would love to trade places with me. I always think about those tough times in the Corps and think about everything I've learned from the beginning in basic training. Dana White announces UFC's return to Denver because a lot of people don't know I spent my 18th birthday in basic training. I was still a kid when I went to boot camp, straight out of high school and right in the fire. I had to mature and grow quickly. Most of my adulthood so far took place as a United States Marine. It's all I knew as a Marine growing up, so a lot of those Marine Corps traits stick with me. Kindly keep checking out and subscribing to my YSR Media channel.